Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, and welcome to another HRO Today Educational Podcast. I'm Elliot Clark, the CEO of HRO Today. We publish HRO Today Magazine, HRO Today EMEA, and HRO Today APAC, as well as host the HRO Today forums and educational events held around the world. We also manage the HRO Today Association. Today, we're going to be talking about the changing solution set of the RPO industry. We're going to look at the way the industry is evolving based on current client needs. In the post-COVID world, the needs of HR and specifically talent acquisition departments are rapidly evolving. Everyone knows that. As the economic uncertainty and changing demographics and employee desires complicate our forecasting, they complicate our planning, TA leaders and CHROs have looked to their key partners for different solution options. HR leaders want more than one option, and they seem to be moving more toward providers who can offer multiple services, or what we colloquially refer to as having one throat to choke. They'd rather have this model than a multitude of partners, and we're seeing this as definitely the trend of the last few years. Now, to discuss this topic, we have a marvelous guest. Jacob Zabkowicz is the global CEO at Hudson RPO, a Hudson global company. Jake is a longtime veteran of the RPO industry. He's been global CEO of Hudson for about the last 5-6 months. Before that, over a decade at Korn Ferry, and also worked at Cielo. So, Jake, you're going to help us analyze this evolution and explain how your firm and other RPO firms need to evolve. Jake, welcome to the podcast.
Elliot, thank you so much. And first and foremost, I just want to say that we really appreciate obviously joining the podcast and being on to share our thoughts and ideas with the broader industry, but also to say thank you for our partnership together. It's very important to us, as we continue to provide that service to our clients, that thought knowledge to our clients, that we have great partners such as yourself and your firm. So thank you again, and appreciate to be here.
Thank you, Jake, for saying that, but I will not ask you easier questions because you complimented me at the start, okay?
Sounds good.
So, Hudson RPO, division of publicly traded Hudson Global, and, just to let people in our audience know, they're one of the leading firms in workforce services, offering solutions for RPO, project recruitment, contingent labor, and technology industry recruitment. Hudson RPO is one of the most highly rated firms on the HRO Today Baker's Dozen for RPO, consistently in that list for the past 10 years. And earlier this year, as I mentioned, Jake took over as the global CEO at Hudson. Is there anything, Jake, you want to add quickly about Hudson for our audience?
Yeah, Elliot, thank you. So I would say the premise of Hudson RPO is that we definitely want to be that household name in talent acquisition to both HR professionals, procurement professionals, and TA leaders across the globe. We are a household name in many regions, and I think specifically you're going to hear more from us as we move forward, about our footprint, about our services within the Americas, EMEA, and APAC. At the core, we provide RPO services, and we have done that successfully throughout the years, predominantly in that mid-market space, but also playing in that enterprise space as well. However, we are just more than RPO. We offer MSP, recruiter on demand. I'm excited to share that we will be offering that mid-level and that professional executive search solutions to our clients. When I first joined Hudson, a couple things struck out at me. One is our partners. We have a very diverse set of clients across the globe, supporting every sector and size. And what was really surprised me is our longevity of our clients. We have many partnerships that have been partner of Hudson for over 5 years, and a strong handful, or maybe 2 handfuls, that have been with us for 10 plus years. The second is our people. When I started the organization, I was being inducted late last year. I was pleasantly surprised to see longevity of our leaders and many of our recruiters. We have the best people in the industry, and I know every CEO gets to say that, but we truly do. It was not uncommon for me to see recruiters and TA leaders, within Hudson have 10 plus years with the firm. And quite frankly, many of our leadership team have over 20 plus years with Hudson. And that goes to the stability that we're able to provide our clients. And lastly, I would share with you, Elliot, is our technology suite. Technology is ever evolving. I'm sure we're going to talk about generative AI in this conversation, but there's really not a one size fits all tech solution. So our tech solution is Talent Max. And essentially, we do have a proprietary technology within our Talent Max solution, but our position is to bring the best and brightest and most relevant technology partners to our clients. And we're going to continue to do that. Our focus was going to focus 100% on talent and a talent acquisition, but with the backdrop and the backbone of our technology and our technology partners. So very excited about it. Very excited to be here at the helm of leading Hudson RPO as part of Hudson Global.
All right. Well, you said we're going to be hearing more from you, but what we want to hear from you right now, and why I thought you'd be an excellent person to address this topic, is you do have, longstanding client relationships, and that gives you the perspective of the evolution that we're seeing right now. We know that firms like Hudson are adding new products and services like contingent labor and MSP, consulting, technology, and as you did recently, executive search capabilities. We know that HR leaders are asking for more from their partners. What do you think is driving this trend, and how do you think it's going to influence the evolution of the HR services and technology industry, particularly as it relates to your sector, talent acquisition?
Elliot, that's a great question. And you really started this conversation hitting a key topic and coming out of this environment that we've been in for many years now, I think 2 or 3 years. But if you think about the swings over the last 2 or 3 years, we had COVID, we had the social unrest and economic unrest that happened across the globe. We have this geopolitical environment that's impacting talent and talent acquisition across the globe going on right now. And I think there's a couple key themes that are resulting from that. One is coming out of COVID, talent acquisition definitely has to have a seat at the table as part of the overall company strategy. Now, we've been saying that for years, right? In talent acquisition, we've been asking for a seat at the table. But coming out of COVID, I think the business now actually understands that they need to have their talent acquisition or their talent partners be as part of that strategic partnership, talking to them about succession planning, talking to them about a diverse workforce and a diverse environment, talking to them about what the skills-based labor get them as part of their evolution as a firm, so that the companies can really make strategic decisions. And at the core of those decisions is based on their talent. So for that, TA has to become more of a consultant, right? Finding people is table stakes. Reducing cost per hire is table stakes. Reducing time to fill is critical. But what now we're seeing a trend is our recruiters, our TA leaders need to be more of a consultant, bring more research. What's happening in the industry? What are the trends that will help make a determination of the future growth and succession of their overall partnerships? The third piece, I would say, is that the economic responsibility that TA has and TA plays as part of the overall business strategy. During COVID, we saw massive attrition across every single sector. We saw businesses lose out on opportunities because they didn't have the right talent. But at the same time, we saw an influx in spend within talent acquisition. So the future of TA and the future of the partnership has to strike a strong balance, both as a steward of financial spend, but also to help control and build off of what the business is going after and truly to help solve those business outcomes and those business objectives.
So, as you talk about the becoming more of a consultant, right? Mm-hmm. A lot of people think of TA as operating inside HR. So are you suggesting that HR leaders should be thinking about having partners such as yourself who have access to the data, the analytics, really sitting in, having their TA people or you advising them, sitting in on operational planning meetings? Because sometimes companies decide they want to go in a direction that, they might not be able to achieve based on the availability of talent in, let's say, a specific job family or specific geography. It's tantamount to, all the software development shops that were being built in Ukraine have obviously been disrupted by the geopolitical situation and the war that's occurring there. So how does TA get that partnership through Hudson and their operations team to function, in your opinion?
Yeah, Elliot, another great question. And it is interesting that you brought this up. And I know you don't know this, but I'll share this with you and the group. We actually just are working with a partner right now on the business side to provide market insights and market dynamics of talent and the talent landscape. And the business leaders are now using that as part of their overall strategy of where they're going to grow, in what geography they're going to grow, and more specifically, what talent in those geographies are going to be available to them to not only meet the current need, but also meet the forecasted need of the future, right? And that's just the beginning. I look at talent acquisition as, yes, sitting in the HR space, but being that conduit, the conduit of the business and what they need to have to grow, which are people, but also play into that HR space of the HR services and the full HR offering. So when we talk about generative AI, last 2 weeks, I've had the opportunity to travel the world. Just got back stateside last week, and I've had half a dozen conversations with CHROs about where are they going to use generative AI and technology in the workspace, right? But as important as speaking with the CHROs, I had conversations with business leaders about that same topic, right? Of where they can use that as part of their talent spectrum. There's definitely not a one size fits all, right? In the technology space, helping them the talent, right? It's more about what's the right solution to serve the business outcomes. And that's where TA will continue to play and needs to play in. Now, we're going to continue to evolve, whether it's finding people at any level of the spectrum, whether it's providing market insights around the talent acquisition landscape, or strategies that we need to talk about EVP and brand, or the employee value proposition and brand, to set themselves up for growth and prosperity down the road. TA needs to be more dynamic than ever than just filling roles.
Let me ask you a question about your most recent announcement, right? So we're talking about the evolution, why companies in the service space are expanding their offerings. But one of the areas that's sort of always been traditionally its own sort of separate group is executive search. So, Hudson recently announced the addition of executive search as a product line. But according to your announcement, your executive search offering differs from the classical business model of executive search. Why did you pick this new product line or initiative for 2024? And I know if I go back in history, Hudson was founded as an executive search firm. You only done some of it, but you didn't really call it out as a product line. So why is this one of your big initiatives for 24? And how do you differ from the traditional executive search offerings?
Elliot, thank you. And I would say a couple things on that piece. One is we listen to our clients, right? And this whole podcast is to talk about the expanding evolution of TA and partners asking for more from the current partners. Our partners last year have asked us to play in that executive search space. They were asking us to bring the knowledge that Hudson has of their organization at that executive level, but we just didn't have that muscle to be able to execute at that level. We've been partners with our clients in RPO, MSP, Recruiter on Demand, and now that next level, that executive search, just makes sense for us. Now, our direction is not to be everything to all of our clients, right? We want to have that unique, intimate knowledge with our current partners. So our executive search is going to currently focus on our RPO partners, providing a deeper breadth of service to them, but we're not limiting to it. But that is going to be our focus. Our search partners are true industry experts, right? But they're going to act as both the hybrid consultant, bring those market insights, bring that market research, bring that analytics to our partnerships, but also being able to execute on those searches should there be a need. And I think that's a critical piece of the puzzle that we're going to have together. And the whole idea is that breadth of service to our clients. So, Elliot, our value to our clients, we are not going to be that true retained search firm where search firms charge 33 and a third on a first year base and charge a third, no matter what the placement is. We're also not going to be on a contingent side and just get paid on the placement. So our value is going to be one that the clients will be able to see and feel on that retained side and that expertise and that knowledge, but also have a pay for performance at the end. One of the other things we're going to do is we bring to the table a unique market mapping with our clients, right? So not just a pay for market mapping, but as part of every search, truly bring out that market mapping with our clients and our clientele to show them what the market entails and what it's going to take to, get the best talent in the industry. But overall, we want to be consultants. We want to be consultants as part of that breadth of service to our clients. And that is the key focus that we have in with our executive search practice.
And how's the financial model differ from the traditional search businesses?
So traditional search on the contingent side, right? It's more of a pay for performance at the end, right? So you get an 18% fee at the end should there be a placement. On the retained side, there's, normally it's 33 and a third or 30% of the base, and it's split out based on the process of the search, usually a third, a third, a third. For our model, what we're looking to do is that we're going to create more of an RPO type of feel where we charge 50% of the estimated fee when we are awarded the search. And the other half of it is going to be based on when we make the placement. So we get that hybrid approach of that retained upfront, but truly that paid for performance on the back end. Very unique in the industry, very non-standard within the search practice. And quite frankly, something that we're very excited about because we want to bring that value both on that front end as well as on that back end.
And it sounds like it would be for those companies that are willing to consider a less expensive choice than the 30, or 33% search models.
That's correct.
Interesting. And I think that all markets are ripe for disruption when a disruptor goes along. So we'll see how, I think there's some jobs for which the executive search industry is well suited and will always do. But there's a lot of jobs that may go to search that may be looking or considering alternative models. That's about all the time we have. I do want to say it's been an interesting conversation, Jake. We'll have to have you back to talk some more about these trends. Thank you so much for taking part in the podcast.
And Elliot, thank you and your team, and really look forward to being part of this, and obviously look forward to our partnership in the future.
Well, as do we. And for our listeners in the audience, thank you for your time and attention, and we'll look forward to you joining us on our next HRO Today Educational Podcast. And this podcast is, of course, available on HROtoday.com. Thank you and have a great rest of your day.